You've updated your resume, you've updated your cover letter, you might have even started networking. And ideally, at this point, you have landed your first interview. But now it's time to stand out even further. You want to stand out after your interview without saying a single word? Send a thank you note. And I'm going to show you exactly how to make it unforgettable. Hey everyone, my name is Dre. I am with the Reboot Era, and I'm here to make your lives easier with some free content on how to make your job search much better, whether you are laid off, unemployed, or currently employed, but just looking for your next opportunity. In 2025, thank you notes absolutely still matter, and you can absolutely write one that ideally gets you moved to the next round and maybe even hired. Most candidates typically leave the meeting after an interview, hang up, and don't follow up, and it's a huge mistake. In this video, I'm going to break down why sending thank you notes after your interview is one of the easiest ways to stand out, leaving a lasting impression and even boosting your chances of getting hired. We're going to review when and how to write a thank you note, what to say, how to personalize it, and I'm going to include 5 ChatGPT prompts to write better thank you notes in seconds. So whether you've just finished your final round or your first phone screen, this video is going to help you write a message that's warm, confident, and impossible to ignore. Bonus, I'm also going to show you the best email subject lines to get your message opened quickly. So let me go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to hop into the newest folder that I've included in the Reboot Era, Google Drive. Once you navigate to the link, which will be down in the description of this video, please subscribe if you find that this is being helpful, or send this to people who can subscribe that need help with their interview process. You can come here and see all the free templates that I have for you today. And the next one that we're going to review is going to be the Reboot Era, the follow-up. Inside the follow-up right now, we have the importance of a thank you note. When you open this, you can review, first and foremost, why thank you notes matter after an interview. Very important. Sending a thank you note after an interview is one of the simplest but most impactful things you can do to leave a lasting impression. And if you're trying to do something to stand out, this can be extremely important. Ideally, you want to send this as soon as possible. I try to aim for within an hour after I've hung up the phone. Sometimes I'll pre-write my thank you notes, and by pre-writing, I don't mean I know what I would say based off of how the interview went. I get the framework of what I want to write about 80 to 90% of the way there, and then I personalize it from the context I got during the interview. I would send it no more than 24 hours after the interview, ideally the same day. And that's because recruiters or hiring managers who you might be interviewing with are typically in back-to-back meetings. You want them to see this before they log off, and they don't have to really collect their thoughts the next day. The other reason is that they might be entering notes immediately into the portal where your application and your interview process is being tracked. It shows enthusiasm, professionalism, and follow through, all the qualities that any employer and any person would really love. Here's some reasons for why it's important. It shows appreciation, reinforces your fit, builds connection, and then keeps you at the top of mind. If they ever search for your name in their email inbox, they're going to see that thank you note with your name attached. Even if the interview didn't go perfectly well, a strong link can really tip the scales in your favor. It's an opportunity for you to really call out and reinforce why you'd be the best fit for the role, why you're excited about this opportunity. Ideally, here are some best practices for writing a thank you note, keeping it short, 150 to 250 words, and conversational. Mention something specific from the interview, reaffirm your interests in the role and unique strengths, and then close with gratitude and a light invitation to keep the conversation open. Subject lines that I had for you, here they are as an example. Personally, I have a 6 that I didn't write here, so you're going to actually have to listen to this part of the video if you want it. I like to include my full name, so Dre Jankowski, 2 backslashes, the name of the interviewer that I was interviewing with, and interview, and then the date format. And I do this specifically month dot day dot year dash thank you. And what that does is when they search for thank you or they search for my name, they're going to see that thank you note very clearly. ChatGPT prompts. Again, ChatGPT is awesome. Sometimes it's inauthentic. Sometimes it's going to really speak robotic. So just know that when you use these prompts, ideally include things that ChatGPT can really make it personal. Review it with chat and say, hey, I want a more personalized, maybe a more friendly or warm response or thank you note that I can send. So here's the first prompt. These are great for standard post interview. Whenever you have one, just throw this one in, especially if you weren't like in love with the job, but you want to be respectful. An example of this output would just be, thank you for meeting with me again today. It was great learning more about specific program and exciting work that your team is doing. I appreciate the conversation, how you're aiming to streamline hardware timelines and throw the opportunity to potentially contribute. Then talk about something specific. So hearing their thoughts on onboarding challenges sparked idea for documenting tribal knowledge and strengthening continuity, something I've tackled before with success at Amazon and CrowdStrike, talking about my relevant experience with this. Also, with my background in Six Sigma and love for solving ambiguous problems, I'd be excited to help move the 16th, 18th month timeline closer to 14-month goal. Please let me know if I can share any additional materials. Thanks again and have a great week. So this kind of opens that conversation for, oh yeah, Dre, I would love to see more examples of your work or anything like that. Post panel or group interview, this is great because you can list multiple names and the roles of who you met with and you address it to the team. I wouldn't do this if you had multiple interviews back to back on the same day at the same company for the same position, specifically if you had a panel, like 5 people in one call or in one room with you. Before I hop to the next prompt, you don't need the email addresses directly for each of the interviewers that you're meeting with. And the reason is because when you meet a recruiter, that is essentially one thing that you can leverage your recruiter for. And I'll give you a really great example. I was interviewing at my last company and I had an amazing recruiter. Her name was Amanda Jew. So shout out to Amanda if you ever get to see her on LinkedIn or work with her. She's amazing. During my time working with Amanda, I met with her in my first interview. I sent my follow-up note. And when I look through my email, I can still see all the correspondences we had. But from that moment of sending that first thank you note, Amanda was really great about following up with me very quickly. And it almost became an accepted practice that after any interview to get that position, I was going to send in a thank you note. Now, I didn't have the email addresses, and it sometimes is awkward in an interview to say, hey, thank you so much for meeting with me. Could I have your email address? Because maybe the hiring manager has already made a decision or they're not comfortable sharing their email address because they're going to get spammed. So I leveraged my recruiter, and after every interview, I would send a message to Amanda and said, it was really great meeting with so-and-so for this role. Would you mind sending or forwarding the below thank you note to my interviewer? And she was amazing about keeping me in the loop on how that went, sending it forward and addressing any questions that I had. The lesson learned here for this part is leverage your recruiter to send and forward those thank you notes in a timely manner. Now, you don't know if your recruiter is going to do it every single time, but at least you have documentation that said, hey, I did send it. It's out of sight, out of mind, and hopefully they got it. The third prompt is emphasizing a skill match. So utilize this one if you're really like looking for a role or interviewing for a role that your skills match specifically to. And then in the example output you have, I really enjoyed the conversation talking about the role. Given my background in program management, experience managing ambiguity while delivering results, I feel this role is an ideal fit. So you're feeding them an idea. I'm an ideal candidate. I'm an ideal fit because here's the skill match that I have. Prompt 4 for creative and strategic roles. So again, it's not going to be a specific job role that says you're going to do A, B, and C. It's going to be a more about like strategic or strategy-based roles, maybe more on the creative and design side as well. Thank you again for today's great connection. Again, introducing what you're thanking them for. With my experience managing complex programs across multiple teams and 5 managers in less than 2 years, I've learned how to make ambiguity work for me. It's what keeps the job exciting. You're really telling them like, I've done this before. I know how to work in ambiguous situations where it's not clear cut on exactly what I need to do, but I'm able to deliver results. And then follow up, thank you, and value add. So this is going to be a really big one for like how you would add value to their team by being part of their team. We're going to skip that first little part. But as we talked today about legacy knowledge capture, I remembered a framework that I used to use at Amazon that worked well to convert internal tribal knowledge into digestible materials. I've attached a simplified version of the structure here. Happy to walk through it anytime. This gives them specific contributions that you've made in previous opportunities that you've had, previous roles that you've had. And now they can even see, oh, here's an example output. This is what I would expect to get from this guy or girl if I was to hire this person. And it can really stand out for you. I think that's all I have to review today around the thank you note. I think it's really important that you do share and send thank you notes because, again, it's just a way to stand out. Moving forward, I'm going to continue giving you guys free content. please follow, please subscribe and share these videos with anybody who you think would really gain value from this. And I'm going to see you guys tomorrow for more tips and trick. Thanks everyone for joining.